The birthplace of America, Philadelphia, it's home to landmarks like the Liberty Bell and Independence Hall. Well, fueled largely by the opioid epidemic, more recently, it's also home to one of the country's most notorious open-air drug markets. Until police and city workers moved in again last week, a two-block section of the Kensington neighborhood was packed with tents, homelessness, and people buying and selling drugs. NewsNation correspondent Evan Lambert live in Philadelphia for us. Evan, describe some of what you've been seeing in recent days.
Hey, Natasha. Well, we've been in that neighborhood, in the Kensington neighborhood, for the last 2 days. It is just, as you mentioned, a couple miles from Old City and the Liberty Bell landmark that people who have been to Philadelphia know extremely well. And what we saw there was really just utter squalor. You mentioned a little bit of it in the question to me, but what we saw is people appearing to fade in and out of consciousness, appearing to use drugs on the street, in the open, in broad daylight. We witnessed people injecting themselves with what sources tell us is likely heroin mixed with fentanyl. That is widely available in the drug supply here in this city. We also, at one point, saw a woman that was using the bathroom on the side of the street. And we saw families and children that had to walk through this and see all of this activity up close. Many of the business owners that we spoke with in the Kensington neighborhood saying that they attribute what we see today, the picture that we see today, to the last mayor, Jim Kenney. Under his administration, he embraced harm reduction policies, tried to involve the police less in the problem to come toward a solution. But one of those tactics involved trying to prevent overdose deaths and disease by handing out sterilized needles. And one of the business owners we talked to said it just didn't work. Take a listen.
I don't think that's the way. That's why they get overdose, because they make it too easy for them. And I don't think that's the right thing to do. The right thing to do is to get them to rehab.
And that business owner telling us that he moved here from New York 15 years ago. He's been operating that store in the neighborhood. Things have just gotten worse. He worries for himself and his wife and two daughters that help him run the store every day, but he keeps plugging away at work. That's his livelihood. Natasha?
Yeah, it's so dangerous. And Evan, Philly, as you mentioned, does have this new mayor who seems to have a tougher approach than her predecessor. What has been the reaction you've seen to these changes in the Kensington area?
Yeah, so those changes do offer a glimmer of hope to the people there in that community. Some of the business owners, also the workers, the outreach workers who are offering services to those people who are struggling with drug addiction in the neighborhood, say that they've seen a cleanup really just in the last week. Last week, Mayor Sherrell Parker initiated a cleanup, a clearing of encampments under a bridge near a train station in the Kensington neighborhood. We also see barriers now outside of the businesses. So people that appear to be using drugs are not able to be right out in front of the businesses there. We witnessed teams, volunteers, in some cases city workers on the street trying to clean up and turn things around. We also did see more police activity, it appears. Our NewsNation cameras witnessing the arrest of a suspected drug dealer there in that neighborhood. We were just on the corner really for a couple minutes before we saw police converge on that suspected dealer and make an arrest. But that is what the situation is now, and some of those folks tell us that it has gotten better. Natasha?
Okay, Evan Lambert live in Philadelphia. Please stay safe as well, you and your crew. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.